on the DSG, first gear, it for it. You can see lost traction, and that was 6,000 RPM. So definitely much slower there. This is stage 0. So by no means a slow car, but it definitely feels slow after you do stage 1. So that was the stage 0 pull. Now I'm gonna show you guys the stage 1 pull. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe. All right, we are at my favorite thing ever, a red light in manual mode on the DSG. First gear, floor it. You can see lost traction, and that was 6,000 RPM in second gear. The car just takes off 270 pound-feet of torque really easily. Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from shouldigetit.com. I'm filming this video on my dash cam so that my Sony action cam can be on the Cobb Accessport, which I got from theapguys.com. Huge shout out to them. You guys can see right now I'm on stage 1, 91 octane high boost. So now what I'm gonna do is go into the gauge setup that I have here, and we're gonna see how much torque we're getting out of this stage 91 high boost. Right now it is 79 degrees outside, so it's definitely a little bit hotter. I don't want to push the car way too hard, but we're gonna see the boost pressure, we're gonna see what gear I'm in. You guys can see the RPM, my speed, maybe I'll block that out. And then we have the torque, I believe this is at the crank, and then the oil temperature at the cylinder head. So right now we're just gonna get on the road and do a couple of pulls in second gear and see how high we can get this number. Now what's really nice is that with the Cobb Accessport, you have your minimums and maximums saved for each number. So right here on the bottom left, you can see our torque actual minimum is of course 0, and then our highest torque that we've achieved since I turned the car on was 72 pound-feet of torque. So now what I'm gonna do is just basically floor it for you guys, and you'll be able to see the numbers right here. Hope you enjoy the video. All right, I'm gonna stick it into manual. You can see we're in second gear, 3,000 RPM. And you can see we hit 270 pound-feet of torque pretty easily right there. All right, we are at my favorite thing ever, a red light in manual mode on the DSG. First gear, floor it. You can see lost traction, and that was 6,000 RPM in second gear. The car just takes off 270 pound-feet of torque really easily. You guys can see the boost pressure was 17.4 PSI. Now I'm cruising in third gear. Quickly switch to fourth and fifth using my S2T paddles. Now we're cruising in sixth gear at like 1,600 RPM, cruising at 41 miles an hour. And again, if I want to feel that torque, just downshift, fourth, third, second, foot to the floor, 17.4 PSI. So it is pushing pretty well. It feels great. And it's running definitely a little bit conservative, I think, because it is taking in the ambient temperature. So I'm very happy to see that. The most torque that I've seen this number push out was 284. And that was definitely on a cooler morning, and it felt really good. And you know, I'm worried about with the heat, is it gonna run too hard and not be able to handle it? But it seems to be taking in that calculation. Yeah, and it is running, it's keeping itself safe, which is great. So that is what the torque feels like in stage 1, 91 octane high boost. If you have 93 octane, you have even more power. I have an exhaust and an intake and an intercooler, so I could do stage 2 on this car, go even higher with the boost, but this feels plenty. This feels like a whole new car compared to the regular, you know, base map that comes with the car. So the Cobb Accessport from theapguys.com, totally worth the money. Legit feels like a new car. I had my brother-in-law drive this. I had my dad drive this. Totally blown away. Even my friend who's not into cars drove this car. This was his reaction. Go.
It's so easy.
Yeah. This is definitely a very fun setup to have. Again, second gear, foot down. Super torquey. So what I'm going to do now is reflash the car. It takes about 10 minutes. I'm going to flash it to stage 0, and then we're going to run these numbers again and see how much torque we get on the base map, so that you can kind of get an understanding of how much quicker it is with the stage 1 high boost. So I'm going to pull over into a parking lot and let the car kind of cycle itself through, do a whole ECU flash, and we will do a part 2 of this. So keep watching. All right guys, so right now I'm going to show you how to retune or flash the car using the Cobb Accessport. So I have it plugged in here down to my OBD2 port down there. Hopefully you guys can see it. And then I have the cable just running up above the steering column, and into the Cobb Accessport, which I just have on a cell phone like air clip right here with the back that came with it from the apguys.com. All right, so I'm gonna take the cable and I'm gonna plug it into the bottom of the Cobb Accessport, even though it was just plugged in, but I'm just showing you from the start how you do it. So you can see that the Accessport starts up right here. Hopefully it's in focus. You'll see my car is on there. Cool. So now that the Accessport is on, you'll see it's back to these gauges, but everything's at 0 because the car is off. It just has the temperature right here. So we're gonna hit this button on the left, and then once we go down, we can go into tune, change map, and then we're gonna go into stage 0. So it's gonna identify my ECU right here, loads all the different maps. So you have like a valet mode, stage 191 high boost, stage 191 regular, stage 193 octane high boost. So we're just gonna go into stage 0, and I'm gonna hit this right here. Battery charger is recommended. If you have all your peripherals off, I found to be okay, but you wanna make sure not to really mess with the car at all while you're doing this. So I have the door open so I can breathe, or you can leave the windows down, but you don't wanna be like opening doors and messing with the radio and playing with your light switches and stuff. You'll see why. Basically right here, it starts to not glitch out, but you'll see that it's showing you this like service setting. And so it's parking wrench, all your different lights are gonna flash. So right now what it's doing is it's going through the reflash process. This takes about 10 minutes from stage 0 to stage 1. But then once you're already on stage 1, going stage 1 to stage 1 high boost, or stage 1 to stage 2 is really quick. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes. So it's just the big change from 0 to 1 that takes a while, but other than that, it's really quick. Or if you're going from stage 1 back down to stage 0, it has just a lot more info to reflash, so it takes a little bit longer. It takes about 10 minutes. You can't really do it super on the fly. Like if you're on a drive with people and you want to change tunes, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're just cruising by yourself, you can take a quick stretch break and your car will be retuned. So we will come back when this hits 100%. All right, so it has been a little bit less than 10 minutes and it's 97% done. With the first little refresh, you'll see that once it hits 100%, it kind of does like a once over. I don't know what it's changing the second time around, but you'll see now it's basically gonna jump up super quick. So in less than 10 minutes, the car is going from stage 1 high boost to stage 0. So I'm bringing it down now just to show you guys the difference of power. So how much less power we're gonna be getting. So now you can see it is done. What I have to do is hit the ignition off button. So I'm gonna turn the ignition to the off position without my foot on the brake, then immediately turn it back to the on position. So we're just following the instructions right here on the screen. Press OK to continue. It's gonna get rid of any check engine lights that are there. So if you had any check engine lights when you change them out, they're all gonna clear. All right, change map successful. Turn off the ignition to the off position for 15 seconds. So we're just gonna fast forward 15 seconds now. It has been 15 seconds, so I'm gonna hit continue. And now if we show the current map, you'll see that it's just gonna be at stage 0. So it's just no tune at all. We can start the car. Sounds normal, and then what we can do is go over to our gauges, and you'll see that they are set up to be the same. It's gonna start at all zeros on the left. Shows their RPM and all that. And there we go. So now let's go drive and see if we can hit 270 pound-feet of torque, which we shouldn't be able to because now we are on stage 0. Let's see how much torque we get at stage 0. So even without the car tuned, which sounds a lot like cartoons, we can still use the Cobb Accessport for diagnostics. So we can see all the different options here on my gauge cluster. There's a ton of different options for the monitoring. So I'm gonna have the same monitoring here. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go into manual mode so I can control what gear I'm in. We're gonna do some second gear pulls and see what the car feels like. Now I can tell you right off the bat, the car feels way, way different on stage 1, 91 octane high boost. That's how it should be. You're literally running more boost. So keep in mind we had 17.4 PSI as our maximum boost when we were doing the stage 1 high boost tune, and we hit 270 pound-feet of torque. So right now we're in manual mode. We're gonna just go into second gear here. The car is warm, right about the same temps. Second gear, 3,000 RPM. All right, and maximum torque was 240 pound-feet of torque. We hit 11.2 PSI boost. So you can see on stage 1, 91 octane high boost, which is such a long name, but basically stage 1 high boost, that's what we're gonna call it. I was hitting 17.4 PSI, so that was 6.2 PSI more of boost pressure, and we also had 34 more pound-feet of torque. Now again, my favorite time, red light, DSG GTI Mark 6. We are at stage 0, so no tune on the car at all. We're gonna see how much torque we get right here. So if I go back and then to our gauges again, it clears the numbers. So our max torque right now is 27 pound-feet. Flooring it. So definitely much slower there. The car actually short shifted itself from second to third. Not sure if I held the paddle for too long or what happened there. You can see only 10 PSI of boost at max pressure and 237 pound-feet of torque. And if you guys watch the speed replays, it's definitely very different when you put your foot down in stage 1 high boost. So does the Cobb Accessport actually make a difference? Does it make your car feel faster? Yes, significantly. I would recommend getting an intercooler just in case. I have a friend with a Mark 7 GTI who blew it up on a stage 2 tune without the intercooler, but stage 1 he ran just fine. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment below. Very happy to answer them. Happy to show you around the Cobb Accessport. Thanks again to the apguys.com for hooking me up with such a sweet deal. Check them out. They sell unmarried used Accessports, so they're a couple $100 cheaper than they are new, and since they're unmarried, you can use them on your device. So on the DSG, first gear, floor it. Let's see, lost traction, and that was 6,000 RPM. So definitely much slower there.